He took an Uber ride only to discover the driver was the pregnant ex-wife he left to die in labor. Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, he said without looking up from his phone. Of course, sir. The driver's voice was professional, detached. Something about that voice made his blood freeze. Liam's eyes snapped to the rearview mirror, meeting familiar brown eyes he'd spent 4 years trying to forget. Sophia? The name escaped his lips like a prayer torn from his throat. Her hands gripped the steering wheel until her knuckles went white. For a heartbeat, she said nothing, and he could see her debating whether to deny it, to pretend she was someone else. Finally she met his gaze. Hello, Liam. What are you? How did you? Making a living, she interrupted coldly. Supporting my son. My son? He whispered. No. Her eyes flashed with fury in the mirror. Donors aren't fathers, Liam. You contributed DNA. That's all. I tried to find you. What you could have done, her voice trembled with 4 years of suppressed rage, was stay with me that night. When I was bleeding out on a hospital table. When our son was fighting for his life. When the doctors told me we might not make it. Welcome back to Mr. Ashbourne Golden Narratives. To my loyal subscribers, thank you for your unwavering support. If you're new here, you've just stepped into a world where second chances hang by the thinnest thread. Now let's get back to the story. The rain hammered against the windows as they stared at each other through the rearview mirror, the world outside fading to a watery blur. What are you doing in Vancouver? He managed, his voice barely audible over the storm. Making a living, she replied, her professional mask firmly in place as she navigated through traffic. Supporting my son. My son. Not our son. The words carved a hollow in his chest. Sophia, I need you to know that We should focus on getting you to your flight, she interrupted, her voice steady despite the slight tremor in her hands. Traffic is unpredictable in this weather. But Liam couldn't look away. 4 years of searching, of hoping for even a glimpse of her somewhere. And now here she was, driving strangers through rain-slicked streets while he ruled his empire from a New York penthouse. I tried to find you, he said quietly. After Tokyo, after I realized what I'd done. A bitter laugh escaped her. And yet here we are. Me driving an Uber, you flying private jets. Your lawyer said you didn't want to be found. And you respected that? Sophia's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. How convenient for you. What else could I do? You'd made it clear through your attorney that you wanted nothing to do with me. What you could have done, she said, each word precisely delivered, was choose your family when it mattered. When I was hemorrhaging on an operating table. When our son was fighting for his life. The memory crashed over him like a wave. Their company on the brink of collapse. The investors threatening to pull out. Sophia rushed to the hospital with pregnancy complications while he was boarding a plane to Japan. The text he'd ignored during the crucial meeting. The 27 missed calls he'd discovered hours later. I was protecting our future, he whispered. There was no our future the moment you boarded that plane. Sophia navigated through traffic, her composure a thin veil over rage. You chose your company over your family. The company would have collapsed without the Nakamura deal. I almost died. The words burst from her, raw and terrible. While you were signing contracts, I was coding on an operating table. They had to revive me twice. Liam's face drained of color. They never told me. Because you weren't there to tell. Sophia's voice dropped to a whisper. No one could reach you. Shame crawled over his skin. The memory of silencing his phone during that crucial meeting. The board members congratulating him on saving the company while his wife fought for her life alone. And the baby? He asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. Is he? Her expression softened fractionally. He's healthy. 4 years old. Smart. Curious. Pause. Looks like you. Something broke open inside Liam's chest. A son. A little boy with his blood who didn't know his face. Does he know about me? Sophia's eyes met his in the mirror. He knows his father chose a business deal over his birth. He knows I nearly died bringing him into this world alone. Each word struck with devastating precision. Liam flinched, but he didn't look away. I want to meet him. No. The word was final, absolute. Sophia, please? You don't get to disappear for 4 years and then walk back demanding access to my son. Our son, he corrected softly. No. Her voice could have frozen the rain outside. Donors aren't fathers. You forfeited that right when you chose Tokyo. The airport appeared through the rain-streaked windows. Liam felt panic rising in his chest. In minutes this chance encounter would end. He might never see her again. What if I don't get on that plane? The words tumbled out before he could stop them. Sophia's hands stilled on the wheel. What? What if I stay? Cancel my meetings, postpone everything. What if I stay and prove to you that I've changed? She pulled into the departure lane, putting the car in park. Through the windshield, travelers hurried through the rain toward the terminal doors. His flight to New York. His meetings tomorrow. His empire waiting across the country. You have responsibilities, she said, echoing words he'd once used against her. Your company. Your investors. None of that matters compared to the family I abandoned. His voice shook with certainty. Everything else can wait. Sophia turned to face him fully for the first time. Her eyes searched his, looking for lies, for weakness, for the ambition that had once consumed him. And when the next crisis comes, she challenged. When your board calls an emergency meeting? When some deal requires your immediate attention? Will you choose differently, or will I be left explaining to Diego why his father disappeared again? The question hung between them, heavy with the weight of his past failures. Liam looked toward the terminal, then back at her. I don't know, he admitted. I can't promise I've become a different person overnight. But I can promise you this, I won't make the same mistake twice. You're asking me to trust you. Tears gathered in her eyes. With not just my heart, but with my son's. I'm asking for a chance to earn back that trust. Liam's voice broke. However long it takes. For a long moment, Sophia said nothing, just watched the rain streak down the windshield. Finally, she reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. Give me your number, she said, her voice carefully neutral. Heart racing, Liam recited his private line, the number only his most important contacts possessed. She entered it, then typed a brief message. His phone vibrated in his pocket. That's our address, she said. Diego has a dinosaur presentation at his preschool tomorrow. 4 o'clock. Hope bloomed in Liam's chest. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Her eyes hardened. You'll be introduced as my friend. Nothing more. If you try to tell him who you really are before I'm ready, you'll never see either of us again. Are we clear? Crystal clear. And Liam? Something vulnerable flickered across her face. Don't make promises to him that you can't keep. He's had enough disappointment for one lifetime. The words cut deeper than any accusation. Liam nodded, throat tight with emotion. I'll be there, he promised. 4 o'clock. As he stepped from the car into the rain, Sophia called after him. One more thing. My mother lives with us. She helps with Diego while I work. Liam froze. Eleanor Jones had never approved of him, even before he'd abandoned her pregnant daughter. After what he'd done, her hatred would be nuclear. Thanks for the warning. She carries pepper spray, Sophia added, a ghost of humor flickering across her face. Just so you know. Before he could respond, she pulled away, taillights disappearing into the storm. Liam stood motionless, rain soaking through his expensive suit. His phone buzzed insistently, board members, executives, his assistant in New York. For the first time in 4 years, Liam Rivera made a different choice. He silenced his phone, turned his back on the terminal, and hailed a taxi to the Westbrook Hotel. Tomorrow he would meet his son. Everything else could wait. The Westbrook Hotel suite felt cavernous and empty as Liam paced its confines. Sleep proved impossible, his mind racing with questions about the son he'd never met. What did Diego look like? What made him laugh? What had Liam missed in 4 years of absence? At 3 a.m. he called his CFO in New York. Cancel everything, he instructed. I'm staying in Vancouver indefinitely. What? Michael sounded as though he'd been slapped. The board presentation is tomorrow. The SEC filing is due Friday. The Tokyo expansion. Handle it, Liam interrupted. That's why I pay you 8 figures. Liam, what the hell is going on? For a moment, Liam considered lying, creating some business justification for his sudden change in plans. Instead he chose honesty. I found my son. Silence stretched across the line. Michael was one of the few people who knew about Sophia, about the choice Liam had made 4 years ago. Is he okay? Michael finally asked. I don't know yet. The admission hurt. I'm meeting him tomorrow. And Sophia? She's here. Driving an Uber of all things. Liam ran a hand through his hair. She's given me one chance, Michael. I can't blow it. What do you need from me? Time. Space. Handle the company. Tell the board I'm pursuing a strategic opportunity in Vancouver. For how long? As long as it takes. After the call ended, Liam stood at the window watching rain streak down the glass. 4 years of relentless work, of building an empire on the foundation of his greatest regret. Would any of it matter if he couldn't reconnect with the family he'd abandoned? His phone chimed with an incoming message. Not business, a photograph from an unknown number. He opened it, breath catching in his throat. A small boy with dark curls and serious eyes, holding a dinosaur model nearly as big as himself. The text beneath simply read, Diego last month. His 4th birthday. Liam's hands trembled as he saved the image. His son. His child. The miracle he'd traded for a business deal. Another message appeared, be punctual tomorrow. Eleanor doesn't tolerate lateness. Despite everything, Liam smiled. Even in her anger, Sophia was giving him the tools to navigate this impossible situation. Her warning about her mother was both threat and guidance, typical of the strategic mind he'd once admired above all others. Thank you, he texted back. For the photo. For tomorrow. For everything. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, don't make me regret this. 3 simple words that carried the weight of 4 years' absence, of trust shattered and tentatively offered again. Liam stared at the message until his vision blurred with unshed tears. I won't, he promised the empty room. Not this time. As dawn broke over Vancouver, Liam Rivera, billionaire CEO, business titan, absent father, stood at the precipice of his most important negotiation. Not for money or power, but for the chance to know his son. For the opportunity to earn forgiveness from the woman he'd never stopped loving. This time he wouldn't choose wrong. Preschool classrooms hadn't changed much since Liam's childhood. Primary colors, alphabet posters, the distinct scent of crayons and glue. But standing in the doorway of Little Explorers Academy, he felt as foreign as if he'd landed on another planet. His designer watch showed 3:45 p.m. Early. A strategic choice. Parents filtered in, greeting each other with the easy familiarity of a community he'd never joined. Several glanced curiously at him, the unfamiliar face in expensive clothes, clearly out of his element. Can I help you? A teacher approached, clipboard in hand. I'm here for Diego Jones's presentation, Liam explained. I'm a family friend. The words tasted bitter. Family friend. As if he were some distant acquaintance rather than the man whose DNA ran through Diego's veins. Of course. Diego's so excited about his dinosaurs. She smiled warmly. You can take a seat in the circle. We're starting in 15 minutes. As Liam moved toward the tiny chairs arranged in a semicircle, a voice like Arctic wind cut through the room. Well. The prodigal father returns. Eleanor Jones stood by the craft table, silver hair pulled into a severe bun, eyes as sharp as the day she'd first assessed him as unworthy of her daughter. 4 years hadn't softened her edges. Hello, Eleanor. Liam kept his voice neutral, aware of curious parents nearby. It's Mrs. Jones to you. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. What exactly do you think you're doing here? Sophia invited me. After you wore her down with guilt, I'm sure. Eleanor's smile was for the benefit of onlookers. Her eyes promised retribution. Let me be clear. My daughter may be willing to give you another chance, but I witnessed what your abandonment did to her. I held her hand through labor while she cried your name. Each word struck with precision. Liam maintained his composure with effort. I can't change the past, he said quietly. But I'm here now. For how long? Eleanor challenged. Until your company needs you? Until something more important comes along? Before Liam could respond, the classroom door opened. Sophia entered, cheeks flushed from rushing, her professional attire suggesting she'd come straight from work. Their eyes met across the colorful room. Something flickered across her face, uncertainty, perhaps regret at having invited him. Then her mask of calm returned as she approached. You're early, she observed, greeting her mother with a kiss on the cheek. I didn't want to miss anything, Liam replied. Eleanor made a sound suspiciously like a snort. I was just explaining to Liam that this is a family event. Mom? Sophia's voice held warning. We discussed this. No, you informed me. There was no discussion. Tension crackled between mother and daughter. Liam felt simultaneously responsible and excluded, a stranger witnessing intimate family friction he'd helped create. Where's Diego? He asked, desperate to change the subject. With his teacher getting ready? Sophia checked her watch. They'll bring the children in soon. Perhaps Liam would be more comfortable waiting outside, Eleanor suggested with false sweetness. Mom, enough. Sophia's patience visibly frayed. He's staying. This was my decision. Before Eleanor could respond, the side door opened and a line of children filed in, each wearing a paper dinosaur hat. Liam's heart stuttered as he searched their faces. Which one? He began, then stopped as his eyes found a small boy near the back. No one needed to tell him. He knew instantly. The serious brown eyes. The determined set of his jaw, Liam's own expression mirrored on a child's face. Diego's skin was a shade lighter than Sophia's, his hair a mass of dark curls that refused containment under his triceratops hat. That's him, Sophia confirmed unnecessarily, something complicated in her voice, pride mingled with protectiveness. Diego spotted them and waved excitedly at Sophia and Eleanor, then noticed Liam with childish curiosity. No recognition, no emotional connection, just the innocent interest in a new face. The pain of that non-recognition carved something essential from Liam's chest. Parents and guests, please take your seats, the head teacher announced. Our dinosaur experts are ready to share their presentations. They settled in the tiny chairs, Liam's knees nearly at his chin. Eleanor positioned herself between him and Sophia like a physical barrier, a not-so-subtle statement about his place in their family unit. One by one, children stood to share dinosaur facts. Some spoke confidently, others whispered. Parents recorded videos and applauded enthusiastically regardless of performance. When Diego's turn came, Liam sat forward unconsciously. His son, stepped to the center of the circle, clutching a handmade dinosaur model constructed from egg cartons and toilet paper tubes. This is T-Rex, Diego announced, his voice clear and confident. He was the king of all dinosaurs because he had the biggest teeth. Pride swelled in Liam's chest as Diego continued, describing Tyrannosaurus rex with scientific terms no 4-year-old should know. His son was brilliant. Of course he was. With Sophia's creativity and his own analytical mind, how could he be otherwise? T-Rex had tiny arms, Diego demonstrated by tucking his elbows against his sides, but he didn't need big arms because his mouth was so strong. Sometimes having one really strong thing is better than having lots of medium things. Several parents chuckled at the improvised wisdom. Liam glanced at Sophia, finding her watching Diego with naked adoration. For a moment, he glimpsed the family life he'd sacrificed, Sophia nurturing their son's curiosity, celebrating his achievements, loving him with ferocious devotion. Any questions for Diego? The teacher prompted. Without thinking, Liam raised his hand. Sophia tensed beside him. Yes, Diego, why do you think T-Rex is the best dinosaur? He asked when the teacher pointed to him. Diego considered the question with endearing seriousness. Because even though he wasn't perfect, he was still the king. That's important to remember. Something caught in Liam's throat, wisdom from the mouth of a child he'd never taught, never guided. Thank you, Diego, the teacher said. That was excellent. As Diego returned to his place among classmates, Sophia leaned across her mother to whisper, What are you doing? Asking a question, Liam whispered back. Isn't that allowed? Don't draw attention to yourself, she warned. We agreed, friend only. Eleanor's expression suggested she'd prefer stranger, or possibly interloper, but she remained silent, attention fixed on her grandson. After the presentations, children dispersed to collect their projects while parents mingled over juice and dinosaur-shaped cookies. Diego ran directly to Sophia, dinosaur model clutched proudly. Mommy, did you see? I remembered all the facts. You were amazing, Mijo. Sophia knelt to his level, straightening his paper hat. I'm so proud of you. Abuela, did you take pictures? Diego turned to Eleanor. Videos too, Eleanor assured him, shooting a warning glance at Liam as if daring him to interrupt the family moment. Diego finally noticed Liam, studying him with unabashed curiosity. You're the man who asked about T-Rex. I am. Liam crouched down, bringing himself to Diego's eye level. My name is Liam. Your dinosaur is very impressive. I made it with Mommy. Diego held it up for inspection. The teeth are toothpicks. Sharp, so be careful. Very sharp, Liam agreed seriously. You did an excellent job. Do you like dinosaurs? The question carried weight, as though Liam's answer might determine his worth. I do. Liam felt Sophia watching him closely. When I was about your age, I had a dinosaur book I read until the pages fell out. Diego's eyes widened. What happened to it? An unexpected lump formed in Liam's throat. I lost it when I moved away. I've always regretted that. That's sad. Diego considered this information. Maybe you need a new one. Maybe I do. Diego, Sophia interjected gently, why don't you show your dinosaur to Miss Chen? She wanted a closer look. Diego nodded and darted away, leaving the three adults in uncomfortable silence. He's incredible, Liam said finally. So smart. so articulate. He gets that from his mother, Eleanor said pointedly. Among other qualities, Liam acknowledged, refusing to be baited. Sophia checked her watch. We should go. Diego has a doctor's appointment at 5. Disappointment crashed through Liam. Already? But I've barely. This was the agreement, Sophia reminded him, voice low. A brief introduction. Nothing more yet. When can I see him again? Sophia hesitated, glancing at her disapproving mother. I'll text you. We need to take this slowly. Of course. Liam fought to mask his frustration. Thank you for today. It meant everything. Something softened in Sophia's expression. I know. Diego returned, tugging on Sophia's hand. Mommy, can we get ice cream after the doctor? If you're brave about your shots, she promised. Diego's face fell. Shots? You didn't say shots. Just one small one, Sophia assured him. Quick as a hiccup. I hate shots, Diego declared, bottom lip trembling. They hurt. Before Sophia could respond, Liam knelt down again. You know, I get nervous about shots too. Diego looked skeptical. Grown-ups get shots? We do. And I have a special trick that helps. Liam glanced at Sophia, seeking permission to continue. After a moment, she nodded slightly. What trick? Diego asked, distrust giving way to curiosity. I imagine I'm a T-Rex, Liam explained. T-Rex wouldn't be afraid of a tiny needle, would he? He's the king of dinosaurs. Diego considered this logic. No, he wouldn't. So when the doctor comes with the needle, I make a T-Rex face, like this. Liam demonstrated, scrunching his face into a comical dinosaur snarl. Diego giggled, then mimicked the expression, adding tiny clawed hands for effect. Perfect. Liam grinned. No needle would dare hurt a T-Rex that fierce. Sophia watched this exchange with an expression Liam couldn't decipher. Surprise, perhaps, or reluctant appreciation. We really need to go, she said, gathering Diego's backpack. Say goodbye, Mijo. Bye, Liam. Diego waved. Thanks for the T-Rex trick. Anytime, Liam replied, throat tight with emotion. Good luck with your shot. As they prepared to leave, Liam's phone rang with his executive ringtone, the tone he'd programmed for true emergencies. The sound sliced through the classroom, drawing attention. Sophia's expression immediately darkened. Duty calls? It's nothing, Liam said, silencing the phone without checking the display. Just work. I'll text you, Sophia promised, her expression guarded once more. But Liam? If you're going to be part of his life, even peripherally, he needs consistency. Not promises when it's convenient. The warning stung precisely because it targeted his greatest failure. I understand. After they left, Liam checked his phone. 6 missed calls from his CFO, 3 from legal counsel, and a text that made his blood run cold. Urgent. Investors threatening to pull funding over your absence. Board calling emergency meeting. Your presence required immediately in New York. The universe's cruel timing hadn't changed. Once again, Liam faced the same impossible choice, his company or his family. This time he made a different decision. What exactly do you mean you're not coming back? Michael's voice verged on panic through the speakerphone. Liam paced his hotel suite, the Vancouver skyline glittering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. I mean exactly that. Handle the board. Tell Nakamura I'm pursuing strategic opportunities in Vancouver. They're not buying it. Michael's frustration was palpable. The stock dropped 8% today on rumors you've abandoned the company. The financial press is speculating about health issues, mental breakdown, federal investigation. Let them speculate. This isn't like you, Liam. Michael lowered his voice. I understand meeting your son is important, but you've built this company from nothing. Are you really willing to risk everything we've worked for? The question hung in the air, echoing the choice Liam had faced 4 years earlier. Different circumstances, same fundamental dilemma. 4 years ago I chose wrong, Liam said finally. I sacrificed my family for Rivera Renewables. I won't make that mistake again. This isn't an either/or situation, Michael argued. Come back for 48 hours. Calm the board, meet with Nakamura, stabilize the situation. Then return to Vancouver with everyone's blessing. The proposal was reasonable, logical, the exact compromise Liam himself would have suggested to anyone else. 48 hours in New York. A brief interruption to his Vancouver plans. Yet something in him rebelled against the familiar pattern. How many brief interruptions had consumed his marriage? How many just this once emergencies had eroded Sophia's trust until nothing remained? No, Liam said with finality. Schedule a video conference. That's my final offer. The board is voting on your removal tomorrow morning, Michael warned. Without you physically present to defend yourself. Then I'll be removed. The word should have terrified him. Instead, Liam felt an unexpected lightness. I built Rivera Renewables once. I can build something new if necessary. You're not thinking clearly. Actually, I'm thinking clearly for the first time in years. Liam ended the call, cutting off further argument. His phone immediately lit up with another call, this time from an unknown Vancouver number. He answered cautiously. Mr. Rivera? An unfamiliar female voice. This is Dr. Patel from Vancouver Children's Hospital. I'm calling about Diego Jones. Ice crystallized in Liam's veins. What happened? Is he all right? He's stable, the doctor assured him. He had an anaphylactic reaction to a new vaccine formulation. Quite severe, but we've got it under control now. Where is he? Where's Sophia? That's why I'm calling. Ms. Jones provided your number as an emergency contact. She's with Diego, but they'll be here overnight for observation. She asked if you could bring some items from their home. Relief mingled with concern. An emergency contact. Sophia had listed him as an emergency contact. Of course, Liam said immediately. What do they need? Dr. Patel rattled off a list. Diego's favorite stuffed dinosaur, pajamas, Sophia's phone charger, toiletries. The nurse can text you their address. I'll be there as soon as possible. After ending the call, Liam stood frozen, processing this unexpected development. Anaphylaxis. His son had suffered a life-threatening allergic reaction. While Liam had been arguing about board meetings, Diego had been fighting to breathe. The parallel to 4 years ago wasn't lost on him. His phone chimed with a text containing Sophia's address and door code. No time to dwell on implications. Diego needed his dinosaur, and Sophia had trusted Liam enough to send him to their home. 30 minutes later, he stood outside a modest apartment complex in a middle-class neighborhood. Nothing like the luxury high-rise he'd expected. The building was well-maintained but definitely aging, with bicycles chained to railings and children's toys scattered across small balconies. Sophia's unit was on the 3rd floor, a corner apartment with potted plants flanking the door. Liam entered the code with trepidation, feeling like an intruder as the door swung open. The apartment told the story of their years apart more eloquently than words ever could. Modest furnishings arranged with Sophia's characteristic attention to design. Diego's artwork covering nearly every surface. Refrigerator, walls, even framed in simple displays. Plants thrived on windowsills. Books filled shelves built from cinder blocks and boards, a far cry from the custom millwork of their New York home. It was smaller than Liam's hotel bathroom, yet contained more life, more personality, more love than his entire Manhattan penthouse. He moved through the space with reverence, collecting the items from Dr. Patel's list. Diego's room revealed his personality in vivid detail. Dinosaur bedding, solar system mobile, shelves of books arranged by color. The stuffed T-Rex sat in place of honor on his pillow, worn threadbare in places from years of love. As Liam gathered pajamas from a drawer, something caught his eye, a framed photograph on Diego's nightstand. He picked it up, breath-catching. It showed a younger Liam with Sophia, both smiling at the camera, her barely visible baby bump pressed against his side. Their last happy moment before everything fell apart. She'd kept this photo. More importantly, she'd placed it where Diego would see it every night before sleep. She never let him forget you. Liam startled at the voice. Eleanor stood in the doorway, arms crossed defensively across her chest. I thought you were at the hospital, he said, carefully replacing the photograph. Sophia sent me to make sure you found everything. Her tone made it clear she'd volunteered for the task of monitoring him. Diego's finally sleeping. The doctors say he'll be fine. Thank God. Relief made Liam's knees weak. What happened? New preservative in the vaccine. Rare reaction, but Diego's always been sensitive. Eleanor's clinical tone couldn't quite mask her concern. He couldn't breathe. His little face turned blue. Liam closed his eyes, imagining the terror of that moment. I should have been there. Yes, Eleanor agreed without mercy. You should have. For the past 4 years. The accusation hung between them, justified and damning. I can't change the past, Liam said quietly. But I'm here now. For how long? The same question she'd asked at the preschool, but now with greater weight. Sophia told me about your company crisis. History repeating itself rather conveniently. Liam met her hostile gaze directly. I rejected their demand to return to New York. The board is voting to remove me as CEO tomorrow morning. Surprise flickered across Eleanor's face. You're sacrificing your company? If necessary, yes. Why now? Challenge and suspicion laced her words. You chose the company once before. And it was the worst mistake of my life. Liam zipped Diego's backpack, having collected everything on the list. I've spent 4 years surrounded by success and utterly alone. I won't make the same choice twice. Eleanor studied him, searching for deception. Sophia believes in second chances. It's her greatest strength and most dangerous weakness. I know. If you hurt them again, Eleanor's voice hardened to steel. If you make promises to that little boy and break them, if you give Sophia reason to cry over you one more time, I will destroy you. Not your company. Not your reputation. You. The threat wasn't empty rhetoric. Eleanor Jones had the determination and resources to make good on her promise. I understand, Liam said simply. I doubt that. Eleanor gestured toward the door. We should get back to the hospital. As they left the apartment, Liam's phone rang again, his board chairman. He silenced it without hesitation. Eleanor noticed. Your company calling? Yes. And you're ignoring them. It wasn't a question, but there was a note of grudging reassessment in her voice. Some things are more important. For the first time, Eleanor's expression held something other than hostility, not approval certainly, but perhaps the beginning of belief. Diego's favorite color is green, she said unexpectedly as they reached her car. He's allergic to strawberries and kiwi. He sleeps with his dinosaur under his left arm, never his right. He's afraid of the dark but pretends not to be because he thinks it makes him brave. Liam recognized the offering for what it was, precious information about his son, freely given. Thank you, he said quietly. Don't thank me yet, Eleanor replied, starting the engine. You haven't earned that right. As they drove toward the hospital, Liam's phone lit up with news alerts. Rivera Renewable stock plummets amid CEO absence. Board expected to vote on Rivera's removal tomorrow. Nakamura Group threatens to withdraw $100 million investment. 4 years ago, these headlines would have sent him racing to the airport. Tonight they barely registered. Somewhere in this city, his son lay in a hospital bed, and Sophia had trusted Liam enough to call him for help. Everything else was just noise. Children's Hospital gleamed with sterile efficiency, its corridors hushed at midnight. Liam followed the nurse through identical doorways until they reached room 412. Diego lay asleep in the too large hospital bed, his face still flushed but breathing steady. Monitors beeped quietly. The stuffed T-Rex was already clutched under his left arm. Sophia sat beside him, head drooping with exhaustion. She startled when the door opened, relief washing over her face at the sight of the backpack in Liam's hands. You came, she whispered, accepting the bag. Of course I came. The question in his eyes remained unspoken. Why me? Why now? Mom went for coffee? Parking the car. She insisted on driving me. Liam approached the bed cautiously. How is he? Stable. The doctors want to monitor him overnight. Sophia pushed hair from her face, exhaustion evident in every movement. Thank you for bringing his things. Sophia. Liam's voice softened. You listed me as an emergency contact. She wouldn't meet his eyes. You're his father. Legally still his next of kin. Is that the only reason? Before she could answer, Diego stirred, eyes fluttering open. He blinked in confusion at the unfamiliar room, then spotted Liam. Hi, he said groggily. Did you bring T-Rex? He's right there under your arm, Liam smiled. But I brought something else too. He reached into his pocket and withdrew a small carved wooden dinosaur. I saw this in the gift shop downstairs. Thought you might like a friend for T-Rex. Diego's face lit up as he accepted the carving. A Stegosaurus. My second favorite. I remember from your presentation. Sophia watched this exchange with an unreadable expression. How are you feeling, Mijo? Tired? My throat hurts. Diego's attention remained on the wooden dinosaur. Can Liam stay? The simple question hung in the air, weighted with implications neither adult was prepared to address. For a little while, Sophia conceded. It's very late. Diego patted the edge of his bed, inviting Liam closer. Want to see something cool? Liam sat carefully, mindful of the foreline. Always. The doctor gave me this. Diego proudly displayed a medical bracelet. It says I'm allergic to medicines. Like a superhero ID. Very impressive, Liam agreed seriously. Like a secret identity. Yeah. Like Batman. Sophia excused herself to freshen up, leaving them alone. Diego chattered about dinosaurs and superheroes while Liam listened with rapt attention, memorizing every detail, every mannerism, every expression that made his son uniquely himself. Eleanor returned with coffee, her hostility tempered but still present. The nurses say visiting hours ended at 8. I'm not leaving, Liam stated flatly. Not until they're both safe at home. Something shifted in Eleanor's assessment. She handed him a coffee without comment. Diego eventually succumbed to medication-induced sleep. The adults maintained uneasy silence until Sophia's phone chimed with a news alert. Her expression changed as she read the screen. Liam, you need to see this. She handed him the phone. The headline made his stomach drop. Rivera abandons company for secret love child. Billionaire CEO missing critical meetings to visit Vancouver hospital. Beneath it, grainy photos showed Liam entering the hospital with Eleanor, carrying Diego's backpack. How did they? He stopped, mind racing. Someone at the hospital must have tipped them off. Secret love child? Sophia's voice trembled with anger. Is that what this is about? Some publicity stunt to humanize yourself before the board meeting? Of course not, Liam protested. I had nothing to do with this. Your company is imploding, and suddenly you're the devoted father? After 4 years of absence. That's not fair. Fair? Sophia's laugh held no humor. Was it fair when tabloids called me a gold digger during our divorce? When reporters camped outside my hospital room while I was recovering from nearly dying? The memory hit like a physical blow. The media frenzy when Sophia had filed for divorce. Speculation, accusations, privacy invaded during her most vulnerable moment. I never wanted that, Liam said quietly. I tried to protect you. By disappearing completely. Bitterness edged her words. Very noble. Eleanor intervened, nodding toward Diego's sleeping form. Not here. Sophia nodded, visibly collecting herself. We should discuss this outside. In the hallway, Liam pulled out his phone to assess the damage. Headlines screamed across financial and gossip sites alike. Rivera Renewables in crisis as CEO abandons ship. Board votes tomorrow on Rivera's future. This is a nightmare, Sophia whispered. Diego's face is all over the internet. I'll fix this, Liam promised, already dialing his PR team. Like you fixed everything 4 years ago? The accusation landed precisely. Before Liam could respond, the hospital corridor erupted with activity. Security guards appeared, followed by a doctor who approached them urgently. Ms. Jones, Mr. Rivera, there are reporters gathering at the main entrance. Hospital policy requires we move you to a secure floor. This is insane, Sophia protested. My son is sick. He needs rest, not a media circus. I agree completely, the doctor assured her. We've prepared a private room in the pediatric VIP wing. We'll move Diego now before the situation escalates. As if on cue, elevator doors opened and a nurse wheeled Diego's bed toward them, the child still mercifully asleep. Mom, go with Diego, Sophia instructed. I'll handle this. Eleanor nodded, following the medical team toward a service elevator. When they were alone, Sophia turned on Liam with quiet fury. This is exactly why I disappeared 4 years ago. Why I built a life away from your world. Diego deserves normalcy, not this. I know. Shame colored his voice. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. She gestured toward her phone, still displaying the headlines. My son's face is public property now. My address, my workplace, they'll find everything. Let me help, Liam pleaded. I have resources, security teams. Your resources are the problem. Frustration broke through her composure. You bring chaos wherever you go. Always have. The accusation stung because it contained truth. Liam's wealth and position had always created complications. Complications Sophia had fled to protect their son. What can I do? He asked simply. Something in his tone, the lack of defensiveness perhaps, gave her pause. I don't know, she admitted. But Diego can't stay here with reporters circling like vultures. Liam considered their options. I have a property outside the city. Completely private, excellent security. You could take Diego there until this dies down. So I should just abandon my job? Diego's preschool? Our life. Just temporarily, Liam clarified. Until I can control the narrative. Sophia laughed bitterly. Control the narrative? This isn't a corporate takeover, Liam. This is our son's life. I didn't mean. I know exactly what you meant. She rubbed her temples, exhaustion evident. Your board meeting is tomorrow. What happens when they remove you as CEO? Will you rush back to save your empire? The question cut to the heart of everything between them. They can take the company, Liam said with sudden clarity. I built it once. I can build something new. Surprise flickered across Sophia's face. You don't mean that. Rivera Renewables is your life. It was, he corrected. Until I saw Diego. Until I remembered what actually matters. Before she could respond, her phone rang, the hospital administrator. Sophia answered, her expression growing increasingly distressed. They want us to leave through the loading dock, she reported after ending the call. Apparently journalists have surrounded the entire building. They're offering Diego a helicopter transfer to avoid the cameras. This is insane, Liam muttered, anger building. He's a child, not a celebrity. He's your son, Sophia reminded him. That makes him newsworthy. Her phone chimed with another alert. The color drained from her face as she read it. What now? Liam asked, dreading the answer. She turned the screen toward him. A new headline. Nakamura Group CEO flies to Vancouver. Rivera must choose between family and company. They're coming here? Disbelief colored his voice. Apparently. Sophia's expression hardened. Congratulations. You've created the exact same situation as 4 years ago. Your company or your family. Let's see if you make a different choice this time. The accusation landed like a physical blow, precisely because it contained truth. History was indeed repeating itself. Another hospital, another crisis, another impossible choice. But Liam was no longer the man who had abandoned his family for ambition. There is no choice, he said quietly. Not anymore. Sophia studied him, skepticism warring with the desperate need to believe. Prove it. Dawn broke over Vancouver as Liam stood in the private hospital suite, phone pressed to his ear. The statement goes out exactly as written, he instructed his PR director. No modifications. Liam, reconsider, Michael pleaded through the speakerphone. Nakamura is here in Vancouver. He's willing to meet to salvage the deal. The board has postponed the vote pending your conversation. My decision is final. You're throwing away everything we've built. No. Liam's voice hardened. I'm choosing what matters. He ended the call and turned to find Sophia watching him from the doorway, Diego's backpack slung over her shoulder. The doctors have discharged him, she said. He's getting dressed. How is he? Better. Confused by all the security and sudden attention. She hesitated. He asked if you were famous. What did you tell him? That you're someone important who helps make clean energy. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. He thinks that's almost as cool as being a paleontologist. The unexpected humor broke some of the tension between them. Liam checked his watch, 7:58 a.m. 2 minutes until his press statement would be released globally. Sophia, about the statement. I heard enough. She cut him off. It's your company. Your decision. It affects all of us now, he said quietly. I wanted you to know what I'm doing before it happens. Curiosity flickered across her face. Which is what, exactly? Before he could answer, Eleanor appeared with Diego, who brightened at the sight of Liam. Liam. Abuela says there are reporters outside because you're important. Are you a superhero? Liam crouched to Diego's level, heart swelling at the simple joy of his son's presence. Not a superhero. Just someone trying to do the right thing. Like Batman. Diego declared confidently. He doesn't have powers either, just money and good ideas. The innocent comparison drew unexpected laughter from all three adults, momentarily uniting them in shared amusement. Ready to go home? Sophia asked, straightening Diego's rumpled shirt. Can Liam come too? The question silenced the room. Sophia glanced at Liam, then back to her son. Liam has important business today. But after? Diego pressed. Before either could respond, Liam's phone chimed. 8 o'clock. The statement had been released. Almost immediately, all their phones began buzzing with notifications. What did you do? Sophia asked, reading her screen with widening eyes. Liam handed her his tablet, open to the official Rivera Renewables press release. Rivera steps down as CEO, announces new Vancouver-based venture. Effective immediately, Liam Rivera has resigned as Chief Executive Officer of Rivera Renewables to focus on family responsibilities and the launch of a new sustainable energy initiative based in Vancouver, British Columbia. Michael Chin, longtime COO, will assume leadership of Rivera Renewables with Mr. Rivera's full support and confidence. The separation is amicable and strategic, allowing Mr. Rivera to remain in Vancouver with his son while pursuing innovative clean energy solutions on a more targeted scale. I've spent 4 years building a company at the expense of my family, Rivera stated. I won't make that mistake again. Rivera Renewables will continue its global mission under excellent leadership, while I focus on what truly matters, being present for my son and creating sustainable solutions that benefit the communities where we live. Sophia looked up from the tablet, disbelief etched across her face. You resigned? Without negotiating? Without fighting? Some things aren't negotiable, Liam said simply. Diego needs his father. Here. Not flying between boardrooms. Sophia nodded, a ghost of a smile touching her lips. He'll be thrilled. Rivera Microgrids took shape in an industrial neighborhood overlooking the harbor. Liam surveyed the warehouse conversion from the temporary office he'd established in the foreman's booth. The solar array installation begins tomorrow, his project manager reported. Permits finally cleared. Excellent. Liam signed the authorization forms then checked his watch. I need to leave by 3 for Diego's school pickup. The casual statement, prioritizing his son's schedule over business, no longer felt foreign. 6 weeks of consistent presence had established new patterns, new priorities that his team now accepted without question. Mr. Rivera? His assistant appeared at the door. There's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment. Who? Before he could finish, a familiar figure stepped into view. Tall, elegant, immaculately dressed in designer business attire that seemed out of place among the construction equipment. Hello, Liam. Vanessa Chin, Michael's wife and Rivera Renewables chief legal counsel, surveyed him with cool assessment. You're looking casual. Liam glanced down at his jeans and work boots, now standard attire for his hands-on role. Vanessa. Surprising to see you in Vancouver. Desperate times. She placed her leather portfolio on his desk. The board sent me to make one final appeal before we proceed with litigation. Litigation. Alarm prickled along his spine. Against whom? You. She removed her sunglasses. The independent patents you're using for microgrids were developed while you had fiduciary responsibility to Rivera Renewables. The board believes they belong to the company. Anger flashed through him. That's absurd. Those patents predate the company's founding. Perhaps. Her perfectly manicured nails tapped the portfolio. But perception matters. You abandoned the company during a crisis. Now you're competing in the same market space. I'm creating community-level solutions. Rivera Renewables operates globally. We're hardly competitors. The board disagrees. Vanessa's expression softened fractionally. Liam, this is madness. You built that company from nothing. Your reputation, your legacy, all tied to Rivera Renewables. Come back to New York. Resume your position. This rebellion has made your point. The familiar temptation whispered through him. The empire he'd built, the power he'd wielded, the respect he'd commanded. All potentially recoverable. His phone chimed with a calendar alert. Diego school pickup, 3:15 p.m. My answer is no, Liam said, standing. I'm staying in Vancouver with my son. Your son has survived 4 years without you, Vanessa observed coldly. He'll manage if you travel occasionally. Something dangerous flashed in Liam's eyes. Get out. Excuse me? You heard me. His voice dropped to the tone that had once terrified boardrooms. You can tell the board that if they pursue this litigation, I'll countersue for harassment. I'll take this public. I'll ensure every investor knows Rivera Renewables is now attacking the founder whose name they still profit from. Vanessa blinked, momentarily rattled by his intensity. Furthermore, Liam continued, gathering his jacket, you can remind Michael that I still control 30% of voting shares. I've remained silent as a courtesy. That courtesy ends the moment you threaten my ability to be present for my son. This isn't the Liam Rivera I know, Vanessa said quietly. Good. He gestured toward the door. The Liam Rivera you knew made decisions he'll regret for the rest of his life. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a school pickup to make. The elementary school buzzed with afternoon energy as children streamed toward waiting parents. Liam spotted Diego immediately, dinosaur backpack bobbing as he navigated the crowd. Dad. Diego's face lit up as he caught sight of Liam. You came. Of course I came, Liam replied, accepting his son's enthusiastic hug. I promised, didn't I? Mom usually picks me up on Wednesdays. She had a client meeting, so I get the honor today. Liam shouldered the dinosaur backpack. How was school? We learned about volcanoes. Did you know lava can move as fast as a car? As Diego chattered excitedly about volcanic eruptions, Liam guided him toward the parking lot, hyper-aware of their surroundings. The media attention had faded but not disappeared entirely. Occasionally photographers still appeared, hoping to capture the billionaire and his secret son. Today something felt off. A black SUV idled near the school entrance, windows tinted beyond legal limits. Liam steered Diego toward his own car, instincts from years of corporate security briefings suddenly alert. "Hey buddy, race you to the car?" he suggested lightly, keeping his body between Diego and the suspicious vehicle. Diego took off running, delighted by the unexpected game. As they reached Liam's Tesla, the SUV's door opened. Liam tensed, positioning himself protectively. A woman emerged, not paparazzi but worse. Julia Westridge, CEO of Westridge Energy and Rivera Renewables' fiercest competitor. "Mr. Rivera," she called, approaching with calculated confidence. "What a charming domestic scene." "This isn't the place, Julia," Liam warned, opening the car door for Diego. "My son's privacy isn't negotiable. Your son is precisely why I'm here." She smiled coldly. "Nakamura was quite surprised to discover your paternity situation. He feels misled. My family is none of Nakamura's business." Liam kept his voice level, aware of Diego watching curiously from the back seat. On the contrary, when a CEO abandons ship for a child he never acknowledged, investors get nervous. Julia glanced pointedly at Diego. Especially Japanese investors with traditional values. Rage boiled beneath Liam's calm exterior. "This conversation is over." "It hasn't begun," Julia countered. "Nakamura has authorized me to make you an offer. Return to Rivera Renewables as chairman emeritus. Make 3 annual trips to Tokyo. Restore investor confidence. And in exchange? Westridge Energy drops the patent challenge. Nakamura maintains his investment. Your legacy remains intact." Her smile turned predatory. "You can still play weekend father. Best of both worlds." For months ago, Liam might have considered the compromise. Today, the suggestion that Diego was an obligation to be scheduled around weekends and business trips felt like a personal attack. "Ms. Westridge?" Diego's voice piped up from the open car window. "Your car is parked in a no-stopping zone. My teacher Mrs. Lopez is writing you a ticket." Julia turned to see a stern-faced teacher indeed documenting her illegally parked SUV. "Smart kid," she muttered, then to Liam, "Think about it. Opportunity expires Friday." As she stalked back to her vehicle, Liam slipped into the driver's seat, heart racing with anger and pride in equal measure. "Who was that lady?" Diego asked, buckling his seatbelt. "Someone who doesn't understand what's important," Liam replied, meeting his son's eyes in the rearview mirror. "Good catch on the parking violation." Diego beamed. "Mom says rules are important even for grown-ups. Especially for grown-ups. Your mom is very wise." Liam pulled away from the curb, Julia's thinly veiled threats echoing in his mind. The school pickup that should have been routine had escalated into the latest battle for his former company. More concerning was Julia's appearance at Diego's school, a clear message that his son was now considered leverage in a corporate war. "Dad." Diego's voice broke through his thoughts. "Can we get ice cream before going home? Mom lets me on Wednesdays if I finish my homework." The simple request grounded Liam instantly. Corporate machinations, patent disputes, billion-dollar negotiations. None of it mattered compared to this moment with his son. "Absolutely," he agreed, corporate threats forgotten. "Ice cream it is." They showed up at his school? Sophia's voice vibrated with controlled fury as she paced their kitchen that evening. "Unbelievable. I've increased security," Liam assured her. "It won't happen again. It shouldn't have happened at all." She slammed a cabinet door with unnecessary force. "This is exactly why I left New York. Why I disappeared. To protect him from your world." The accusation stung precisely because it contained truth. "I know. I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix this." Sophia braced her hands against the counter, shoulders tense with anger and fear. "These people see him as a pawn. A weakness they can exploit to control you." Liam moved cautiously closer. "I won't let them." "How can you stop them? Your life has always been a chess game. Now they're using Diego as a piece on the board." The metaphor struck uncomfortably close to home. Throughout his career, Liam had approached business as strategic warfare, calculating moves and sacrifices with clinical precision. Now those same tactics were being deployed against his family. I'm considering a counter-move, he said quietly. Sophia turned, wariness replacing anger. What kind of counter-move? Selling my remaining shares in Rivera Renewables. Completely severing ties. Shock registered on her face. That's 30% of a multi-billion-dollar company. Yes. You'd give up that much influence? That much wealth? To protect Diego? Without hesitation. Something shifted in Sophia's expression, not quite trust, but perhaps recognition of the profound change in his priorities. There's another option, she said after a long moment. One that doesn't require financial sacrifice. I'm listening. Leave Vancouver. Her voice was steady, but her eyes reflected internal conflict. Return to New York. Run your empire from there. The suggestion blindsided him. You want me to go? What? No. She folded her arms protectively across her chest. But Diego is forming an attachment to you. Every day you're here, every promise you keep, he invests more trust in you as his father. Isn't that what we both want? What happens when these business threats escalate? When they find new ways to use him against you? When the choice becomes impossible? Her voice cracked slightly. I can't watch him get his heart broken when you eventually choose the company. Not again. I won't make that choice, Liam insisted. Not ever again. You might not have a choice. Your enemies are making it for you. Sophia met his gaze directly. I need to protect him. Even from possibilities. The kitchen fell silent, their impasse hanging between them. From down the hall came the muffled sounds of Diego playing in his room, blissfully unaware of the adult complexities surrounding him. What does Diego want? Liam finally asked. Sophia's expression softened. He wants his father in his life. He asks about you constantly when you're not here. Tells his friends about your projects. Where's that Rivera microgrids cap you gave him everywhere? Then I stay, Liam said simply. I'll handle the business threats. Increase security. Whatever it takes. Even sell your shares? Even that. Sophia studied him, searching for hesitation and finding none. Finally she nodded, decision made. Diego's birthday party planning committee meets tomorrow at 4, she said, changing subjects with deliberate finality. He wants you to lead the fossil excavation activity. Relief washed through Liam at this tacit permission to remain in their lives. I'll be there. As if summoned by his name, Diego appeared in the doorway, dinosaur pajamas slightly too small for his growing frame. Dad, are you staying for bedtime stories? Hope filled his voice. Liam glanced at Sophia, who gave a slight nod. Absolutely, he agreed. I want to hear what happens with that Triceratops book we started yesterday. Diego cheered and raced back to his room to select additional books. When they were alone again, Sophia moved to the refrigerator, her back to Liam. I watch him with you, she said quietly. The way he lights up, the way he studies your expressions trying to be like you. He worships you, Liam. I don't deserve that, Liam admitted. But I'm trying to earn it. Every day. I know. She turned, vulnerability replacing her earlier anger. That's what terrifies me. You're becoming essential to him. To his happiness. To his sense of self. The implication hung unspoken between them, that Liam was becoming essential not just to Diego, but perhaps to Sophia as well. A dangerous hope neither was ready to acknowledge. Dad. I found 3 books. Diego called from his bedroom. Duty calls, Liam said with a soft smile. As he moved toward the hallway, Sophia's voice stopped him. We're adopting a rescue dog next week, she said abruptly. Diego's been begging for months. I finally said yes. The non sequitur confused him until understanding dawned. A dog meant commitment, responsibility, permanence. Sophia was creating another attachment that would make leaving more difficult. Another anchor securing him to Vancouver, to their lives. What kind? He asked, accepting the implicit challenge. Golden Retriever mix. 8 months old. Already house-trained. Diego will be thrilled. He wants to name it Rex. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. Like T-Rex. Perfect choice, Liam agreed. As he joined Diego for bedtime stories, the weight of the day's corporate threats seemed to evaporate. Julia Westridge, Nakamura, Rivera Renewables, they belonged to another life, another version of himself. This moment, his son curled against him with dinosaur books, the promise of a family dog, Sophia cautiously allowing him deeper into their world. This was the only reality that mattered now. Whatever threats tomorrow might bring, Liam Rivera had finally learned which battles were truly worth fighting. And this, brave explorers, is where we found the first Tyrannosaurus footprint. Liam gestured dramatically at the museum's replica dinosaur track. 20 children in party hats gasped in unison, Diego beaming proudly at the center of the group. The Natural History Museum birthday celebration had transformed Liam from corporate titan to fossil expedition leader, complete with explorer's vest and ridiculous pith helmet. Diego had insisted. "Now, who can tell me how we know what dinosaurs ate?" Liam continued, completely immersed in his role. "Teeth," the children chorused, Diego loudest among them. From the sidelines, Sophia watched the performance with undisguised amusement. 6 weeks had stretched into 3 months. Diego's hesitant, "Can Liam come?" had evolved into, "When is Dad coming over?" The temporary arrangement had developed roots, growing deeper with each fulfilled promise. "He's good with them," Eleanor observed, joining Sophia with plates of dinosaur-shaped cake. "Surprisingly good," Sophia agreed. "Still think he'll leave when business calls?" There was less accusation in Eleanor's tone than genuine curiosity. Before Sophia could answer, her phone vibrated with a news alert. Her breath caught as she read the headline. Rivera sells controlling interest in Rivera Renewables. Billionaire founder cuts ties with company bearing his name. "What is it?" Eleanor asked, noting her daughter's expression. Wordlessly, Sophia handed over the phone. Eleanor's eyes widened as she scanned the article. 30% of shares. "That's billions of dollars," Eleanor whispered. "He actually did it." Across the exhibit hall, Liam led the children in a dinosaur roar contest, completely unaware of the financial bombshell that had just detonated across global markets. Diego stood on tiptoes beside him, attempting to match his father's theatrical growl. "He chose," Sophia said quietly, revelation coloring her voice. "He actually chose us." The fossil expedition concluded with a treasure hunt, each child discovering a rare specimen, museum-approved replicas Liam had personally funded. As families began departing with goodie bags and sugar-fueled children, Liam approached Sophia, still wearing the ridiculous helmet. "Mission accomplished," he grinned. 20 junior paleontologists successfully trained. "You sold your shares," Sophia said without preamble. His smile faded. "You saw that. It just hit the financial press. Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to overshadow Diego's day." Liam removed the helmet, suddenly looking vulnerable without its absurd protection. "Besides, it's just business." "Just business?" "Liam, that company bears your name. Your reputation. Your legacy." "My legacy is over there showing his grandmother how T-Rex arms work." Liam nodded toward Diego, who was demonstrating the famous tiny appendages to an indulgent Eleanor. "Everything else is just assets." The museum's overhead lights caught the silver threading through Liam's dark hair, new since their reunion. Lines around his eyes that hadn't existed 4 years ago. Changes that spoke of stress, of lessons learned through pain. "You didn't have to sell everything," Sophia said quietly. "Yes, I did." His voice carried absolute certainty. "They were using Diego to manipulate me. Threatening our peace. The only way to end it definitively was to remove myself from the equation." "And microgrids?" "Safe. I've established a trust that protects the patents." Diego's trust actually. A small smile touched his lips. "Seems fitting that the reason I'm building it should be the one who ultimately owns it." Before Sophia could respond, Diego raced over, face smeared with blue frosting. "Dad. Mom. Can we show Rex the dinosaur bones tomorrow? I bet he'd love them." Rex, the golden retriever mix who had joined their family 2 weeks prior, had become Diego's constant companion and confidant. The dog had also, unexpectedly, become a bridge between Liam and Sophia. Joint custody of evening walks and weekend park visits creating neutral territory for conversation. "Rex might have to stay outside the museum, buddy," Liam explained, wiping frosting from Diego's cheek. "But we could take him hiking to look for real fossils instead." "Real fossils?" Diego's eyes widened to impossible dimensions. "Like in the ground?" "I know a place in the mountains where we might find some small specimens." Liam glanced at Sophia. "If your mom approves a Sunday expedition." Something shifted in Sophia's expression, a decision forming behind careful eyes. "Actually," she said slowly, "why don't we make it a camping trip? Rex would love that." "Camping?" Both males responded with identical expressions of delighted surprise. "Just overnight," Sophia clarified. "I have client meetings Monday afternoon." "Camping?" Diego spun in excited circles. "With a tent and everything?" "With a tent and everything," Sophia confirmed, her eyes not leaving Liam's face. The invitation hung between them, Not just a family outing but their first overnight trip together. A significant threshold crossed. "I'll handle the equipment," Liam offered, understanding the importance of this moment. "I still have our old gear in storage." "Our old gear?" Sophia echoed, surprised. "From before." "I kept everything," he admitted quietly. "The tent, the sleeping bags, the ridiculous camp stove you insisted was worth its weight in gold. It made perfect coffee." The memory slipped out before she could contain it. Their first camping trip as newlyweds, early morning coffee overlooking a misty lake. Something warmed in Liam's eyes. It did. The moment stretched between them, heavy with shared history and cautious possibility. "Can Rex sleep in my sleeping bag?" Diego interrupted, blissfully unaware of the adult's silent communication. The spell broken, Sophia ruffled her son's hair. "We'll bring his own bed. Now go thank your friends for coming." As Diego raced off to fulfill his hosting duties, Liam stepped closer to Sophia. "Thank you," he said softly. "For what?" "For letting me be part of this. His birthday. The camping trip. All of it." "You earned it," she replied simply. Every promise kept. Every priority demonstrated. Before he could respond, her phone chimed with another notification. She glanced down, then looked up with renewed surprise. "The Rivera Foundation is donating $50 million to children's hospitals across North America?" she read aloud. "Effective immediately?" Liam shrugged, suddenly awkward. "Seemed appropriate. Diego's experience made me realize how fortunate we are to have access to excellent care. Not every family does." "You established this today? On Diego's birthday?" "The paperwork was finalized this morning." He met her gaze directly. "I wanted something good to come from the sale. Something that honors him." Sophia studied him, seeing not the ambitious CEO who had abandoned her 4 years ago, but a man transformed by loss and redemption. A father who had sacrificed empire for family without hesitation or regret. "Diego wants to open presents at home," she said abruptly. "Will you join us?" "I'd love to." "And stay for dinner?" The invitation carried weight beyond its simple words. "Yes." His answer encompassed more than the immediate question. As they gathered Diego's elaborate dinosaur cake toppers and gift bags, Sophia made another decision. "The camping trip," she began, focusing intently on packing supplies. "There's a cabin at the site. Small, rustic. But with actual beds." "I remember," Liam replied carefully, uncertain where this was leading. "I reserved it." She finally met his eyes. "Thought it might be more comfortable than tents. For all of us." The implication hung between them, not separate sleeping arrangements but a family unit. A significant step beyond co-parenting toward something neither was ready to name. "Perfect," Liam said simply, accepting her lead without pushing for definitions. Outside the museum, paparazzi lingered despite security's best efforts. The billionaire who abandoned his company for family remained newsworthy, especially on his son's birthday. "Dad, the camera people are back," Diego observed as they prepared to leave, more curious than concerned about their persistent shadows. "Just ignore them, buddy," Liam advised, positioning himself protectively. "Why do they care about us?" Diego persisted, practical as always. Sophia and Liam exchanged glances, silently debating how to explain media interest to a 5-year-old. "Because families are important," Sophia finally answered. "And sometimes people are interested in watching families figure things out." "Like a reality show?" Diego asked innocently. Liam laughed, tension broken. "Something like that. Except much more boring." "Not boring," Diego protested. "We have Rex and dinosaurs and camping." "You're right," Liam agreed, ruffling his son's hair. "Nothing boring about that." As they navigated toward the exit, photographers snapped photos of the birthday boy between his parents, Diana the Triceratops cake balanced carefully in Sophia's arms. The images would appear in tomorrow's tabloids with speculative headlines about reconciliation and rekindled romance. For once, neither Sophia nor Liam particularly cared. The mountain cabin nestled among towering pines, its rustic charm unchanged since they'd last visited 6 years earlier. Back then, they'd been newlyweds building dreams of future family camping trips with children who existed only in imagination. Now Diego raced ahead with Rex bounding beside him, their excited exploration punctuated by discoveries announced at full volume. Dad. There's a real fireplace. The bathroom has a clawfoot tub. Rex found a squirrel. Sophia and Liam followed at a more measured pace, each navigating memories alongside present reality. It's smaller than I remembered, Liam observed, setting down coolers of food. Or we've gotten older, Sophia replied, allowing herself a small smile. Speak for yourself. His mock offense drew a genuine laugh from her. Dad, can we go fossil hunting now? Diego appeared in the doorway, already wearing his explorer's backpack. Let's get settled first, Sophia countered. We have all afternoon for fossils. Diego's expedition proved fruitful beyond expectation. Liam's research had identified a public access site where Cretaceous-era plant fossils could be found with relative ease. Diego's patience and sharp eyes yielded several impressive specimens. Nothing museum-worthy but treasures to a 5-year-old paleontologist. This one's shaped like a fern, he exclaimed, carefully wrapping his find in tissue paper. Can I bring it to school for show and tell? Absolutely, Liam agreed, helping secure the delicate fossil. We'll make a proper display case for it. Nearby, Rex investigated a fallen log with canine determination while Sophia photographed Diego's discoveries. The tableau resembled countless other family outings occurring across the mountains that weekend, utterly ordinary and therefore precious. As sunset painted the landscape in amber hues, they returned to the cabin. Diego's fossil collection required immediate organization and cataloging, a process he approached with scientific seriousness while the adults prepared dinner. Working together in the small kitchen, Liam and Sophia fell into a rhythm that felt both familiar and new. She chopped vegetables while he managed the ancient cast-iron stove. Their movements synchronized without discussion, muscle memory from years of shared meals before everything fell apart. He's cataloging those fossils by size, shape, and what he calls coolness factor, Liam observed, glancing toward Diego's intense concentration at the coffee table. Systematic with a subjective element, Sophia nodded. He approaches everything that way. Wonder where he gets that from, Liam teased gently. Certainly not from his father, who once created a spreadsheet to determine the optimal honeymoon destination. The memory slipped out before she could censor it. Liam's ridiculously detailed analysis of beach access, cultural experiences and relaxation potential for their potential honeymoon spots. Instead of awkwardness, the shared history brought unexpected warmth. Liam laughed, accepting the gentle mockery. That spreadsheet worked though. Bali was perfect. It was, she agreed softly. Then, changing subjects, there's a telescope in the loft. Diego might enjoy stargazing after dinner. Great idea. The sky should be incredible up here. After dinner, they gathered on the cabin's small deck. Diego, exhausted from excitement and fresh air, leaned against Liam's side as they identified constellations through the telescope. Rex sprawled protectively at their feet, occasionally raising his head at distant forest sounds. Look, there's Orion, Liam pointed. See the 3 stars in a row? That's his belt. Was he a dinosaur hunter? Diego asked through a yawn. A different kind of hunter, Sophia explained. From ancient stories. I like dinosaur stories better, Diego mumbled, eyelids drooping despite his determination to stay awake. Time for bed, paleontologist, Sophia announced, recognizing the signs of imminent crash. But the stars. Diego protested weakly. We'll still be there tomorrow night, Liam assured him. And the night after that. The simple promise, that Liam would be present not just tomorrow but beyond, hung in the cool mountain air. Diego accepted it without question, secure in the continuity his father now represented. After tucking Diego into the cabin's small second bedroom, Rex curled protectively at the foot of his bed. Sophia and Liam found themselves alone on the deck. The silence between them felt comfortable rather than strained, a significant evolution from the tense conversations of months earlier. He's cataloging those fossils for his wedding, Liam observed, breaking the quiet. Sophia smiled, leaning against the deck railing. Imagine finding joy in rocks that are millions of years old. He sees history where others see stones. Pride colored Liam's voice. That perspective, finding significance in what most people overlook, that's all you. He has your determination, Sophia countered. When he decides something matters, he commits completely. The observation carried weight beyond their son. Liam's transformation from absent father to consistent presence had demonstrated precisely that quality, complete commitment to what truly mattered. I'm sorry I didn't recognize what mattered 4 years ago, he said quietly, giving voice to the subtext. Sophia studied the stars, gathering thoughts. I've been angry for so long, she finally said. Justified anger that protected me. Protected Diego. I deserve that anger. Yes. She turned to face him fully. But I'm not angry anymore, Liam. I'm grateful. Grateful? The admission clearly surprised him. For Diego. For the man he's becoming with you in his life. For your consistent presence these past months. She paused, choosing words carefully. And selfishly, for the chance to remember who we were before everything went wrong. The admission hung between them, delicate as crystal. Liam moved closer, careful not to shatter the moment with presumption. Who we were, he echoed softly. I've missed them. Those people who dreamed together. They were younger, Sophia smiled sadly. More naive. But not wrong, Liam countered. Not about everything. Mountain silence enveloped them, punctuated only by night creatures and distant rustling pines. The question neither dared ask, could something broken be rebuilt differently but stronger, remained unspoken yet palpable. I kept everything, Liam admitted suddenly. After you left. Your design portfolios. The sonogram pictures. The plans we drew for the house in Connecticut. Surprise flickered across Sophia's face. Why? Because they represented the life I threw away. His voice roughened with emotion. The future I sacrificed for quarterly profits and board approval. And now I know what success actually means. He gestured toward the cabin where their son slept. It's not stock prices or market share. It's being trusted by my son. It's being welcomed into your lives despite every reason you had to shut me out forever. Sophia moved closer, moonlight silvering her profile. I tried to hate you, she confessed. For 4 years, I nurtured that anger because it was easier than admitting part of me still loved the man I thought was gone forever. And now? Liam asked again, heart suspended between beats. Instead of answering with words, Sophia closed the distance between them. Her lips met his hesitantly, a question rather than a declaration. Liam remained perfectly still, allowing her to control the moment, to set its boundaries and meaning. The kiss deepened fractionally, then she drew back, eyes searching his face. I don't know what happens next, she whispered. This wasn't part of the plan. We don't need a plan, Liam replied softly. We just need to be honest about what we want. What do you want, Liam? My family. The answer came without hesitation. You and Diego. However you'll have me. Whatever role you'll allow. Something shifted in Sophia's expression, caution giving way to possibility. She leaned forward again, her second kiss carrying greater certainty than the first. When they separated, Liam kept her hand in his, unwilling to break the tenuous connection. We can't go backward, she warned. Too much has happened. We're different people now. I don't want to go backward, Liam assured her. Forward is the only direction that matters. From inside the cabin came a sleepy call. Mom? Dad. Is Rex outside? Reality intruded on the moment, reminding them of responsibilities beyond their emerging reconnection. Coming Mijo, Sophia called, reluctantly releasing Liam's hand. Before she moved away, she whispered, Forward then. Slowly. At your pace, Liam agreed. Always. As they returned inside to reassure their son that his dog remained faithfully at the foot of his bed, something fundamental had shifted between them. Not reconciliation complete, not trust fully restored, but a bridge spanning the chasm of past hurts. A new beginning, built not on naive dreams but hard-won wisdom. Forward into possibility. 6 months later, autumn painted Vancouver in brilliant copper and gold. The Rivera Microgrid's headquarters buzzed with Friday afternoon energy as employees prepared for weekend freedom. Liam reviewed final construction specs for their first community installation when his office door burst open. Diego charged in, backpack bouncing, Rex trotting faithfully behind him. Dad. I got an A on my dinosaur report. He thrust a paper covered in gold stars toward Liam. Ms. Wilson said my fossil descriptions were college level. That's incredible, buddy. Liam lifted Diego onto his desk, genuinely impressed by the detailed illustrations. This deserves a celebration. Ice cream? Diego suggested hopefully. Absolutely ice cream, Liam agreed, shutting down his computer. Where's your mom? Talking to Grandma in the car. They're being weird and secretive. Liam raised an eyebrow, checking his calendar. No special occasion registered for today's date. The evolution of their family dynamic over recent months had surprised everyone, none more than themselves. Weekend camping trips had become regular occurrences. Family dinners transformed from scheduled events to natural routine. The careful dance of co-parenting had gradually shifted toward something deeper, more permanent. Sophia had maintained her independence, expanding her design consultancy into new corporate markets, insisting Diego attend public school rather than private academies Liam suggested. Yet walls had lowered brick by brick. 3 months ago she'd finally agreed to let Liam help fund Diego's education trust. 2 months ago she'd accepted a key to his downtown apartment. 1 month ago she'd given him a key to hers. Small steps. Meaningful progress. Let's not keep them waiting, Liam suggested, collecting his jacket. Ice cream emergencies require immediate attention. Outside, autumn sunlight bathed the parking lot in golden light. Sophia leaned against her car, not the Uber sedan where they'd reconnected, but a practical hybrid SUV perfect for family adventures. Eleanor stood beside her, their serious expressions instantly shifting to suspiciously casual smiles when Liam and Diego approached. "There's my brilliant paleontologist," Sophia greeted, accepting Diego's excited hug and report presentation. "This deserves a celebration." "Dad already promised ice cream," Diego reported, climbing into the back seat where Rex waited. "Did he now?" Sophia met Liam's eyes over the car roof, something unreadable in her expression. "Actually, I was thinking we might celebrate somewhere special." "More special than ice cream?" Diego sounded skeptical. "Remember that restaurant on the harbor with the glass floor where you can see fish swimming?" Sophia suggested. "The one you've been begging to visit?" Diego's eyes widened. "The fancy one? With real tablecloths?" "That's the one. But it's not even my birthday." Diego's suspicion mounted. "What's happening?" Eleanor intervened with her characteristic directness. "Your parents have something important to discuss with you. Now buckle up and stop interrogating everyone." The drive to the harbor featured Diego's detailed explanation of Cretaceous-era vegetation to a patiently attentive Rex. Liam caught Sophia's eye in the rearview mirror, questioning. She smiled enigmatically in response. The Harbor Lights restaurant lived up to its reputation. Elegant without pretension, tables positioned over a massive aquarium floor that showcased local marine life. Diego immediately pressed his face to the glass, scientific curiosity overriding any attempt at sophisticated behavior. "A bluefin tuna," he exclaimed, pointing downward. "They can swim 50 miles per hour. Inside voice Mijo," Sophia reminded gently as they were escorted to a corner table with spectacular water views. Eleanor, surprisingly, excused herself after they were seated. "I have an appointment nearby. I'll catch a rideshare home." Liam's confusion deepened. Eleanor never voluntarily removed herself from family gatherings, particularly those involving her grandson. "What's going on?" he asked when she departed. Before Sophia could respond, Diego piped up, "Are you getting married again?" "Jacob's parents did that. They had cake at school." Sophia choked slightly on her water. "What makes you ask that?" "You're being weird and secretive," Diego observed matter-of-factly. "And Grandma left, which means grown-up talk is happening." Perceptive as always, Liam smiled, genuinely curious about Sophia's mysterious agenda. She took a deep breath, reaching into her purse. Instead of a ring box, she withdrew a folder bearing the Rivera Microgrids logo. "I had a meeting with your legal team yesterday," she began. Alarm flashed briefly across Liam's face. "About what?" "This." She slid the folder toward him. "I asked them to prepare it. They were surprisingly accommodating." Liam opened the folder cautiously. Inside lay legal documents with familiar letterhead. As he scanned the contents, his expression shifted from confusion to astonishment. "Partnership papers," he breathed. "You're proposing a business partnership?" "Rivera Jones Sustainable Design," Sophia confirmed. "A separate division within Microgrids focused on environmentally integrated architecture. My clients, your infrastructure, our combined vision. But your independence, your consultancy, will continue," she assured him. "This isn't about merging everything. It's about creating something new. Together." Diego watched this exchange with growing impatience. "So, no wedding cake?" Both adults laughed, tension broken. "Not exactly, buddy," Liam explained. "But your mom is suggesting we work together, not just parent together." "Like a team?" Diego brightened at the concept. "Like the Power Rangers?" "Something like that," Sophia smiled. "What do you think?" "I think it's awesome." Diego punched the air enthusiastically. "And we should still get cake to celebrate." As Diego returned his attention to the fish below, Liam studied Sophia across the table. "Why now?" "Because you've proven you can balance work and family," she said simply. "Because I trust your priorities now. Because I miss creating with you." The admission carried weight beyond business. Their early relationship had been built on shared vision, design and innovation intertwined with growing love. The partnership papers represented more than a business arrangement. They symbolized restoration of trust fractured 4 years earlier. "I'd be honored," Liam said, emotion thickening his voice. "But only if you're certain." "I am." Her smile reached her eyes, genuine and unguarded. "It's time to build something new. Together." Before Liam could respond, his phone chimed with an urgent alert, the security system at his apartment. He checked the notification with a frown. "Someone's at my place," he reported. "Security override code used." "Probably just maintenance," Sophia suggested, though her expression showed concern. They were scheduled to check the heating system this week. On a Friday evening? Skepticism colored his tone. "I should check the cameras." The security app showed a familiar figure entering his apartment. Eleanor, using the emergency code Liam had provided months earlier. "Your mother's at my apartment," he reported, baffled. "Using boxes inside." Sophia's mysterious smile returned. "Is she now?" "You knew about this?" "I might have." "Mom, Dad, can we order now?" Diego interrupted, having thoroughly catalogued every visible fish species. "I want the lobster mac and cheese." "Whatever you want, buddy," Liam agreed, still confused by Eleanor's unauthorized visit to his apartment. It's a celebration after all. Throughout dinner, Sophia maintained her enigmatic demeanor, deflecting questions about Eleanor's activities. Diego, oblivious to adult undercurrents, regaled them with dinosaur facts and first-grade politics until dessert arrived. A chocolate volcano complete with erupting lava sauce. "Best celebration ever," Diego declared as molten chocolate cascaded down the cake. Only after they'd paid the bill did Sophia finally address the mystery. "We should go to your apartment," she suggested casually. "I think Eleanor might need help with those boxes." "What boxes?" Liam persisted. "What's happening?" "You'll see." The drive to Liam's downtown high-rise featured Diego's detailed explanation of volcanic eruptions, inspired by dessert. Liam caught Sophia's eye at a stoplight, questioning. She merely smiled in response, a hint of nervousness beneath her composure. The penthouse elevator opened directly into Liam's apartment, where they found Eleanor arranging flowers on the dining room table. The space had transformed since their reunion, no longer the sterile showcase of a workaholic billionaire, but a home featuring Diego's artwork, family photographs, and comfortable furnishings that invited relaxation. Tonight something had changed again. Boxes lined the entryway, familiar boxes labeled in Sophia's precise handwriting. "Kitchen. Books. Winter clothes." "Grandma, why is our stuff here?" Diego asked, expressing Liam's unspoken question. Eleanor gestured toward Sophia. "Ask your mother." Sophia took a deep breath, suddenly vulnerable beneath her confident exterior. "I thought, maybe it was time to stop maintaining two separate homes." The implication hung in the air, monumental in its simplicity. "You want to move in," Liam clarified, heart racing. "Here. With me." "If that's still what you want," Sophia replied. "You've mentioned it before, but I needed time to be certain." "And now you are?" Instead of answering directly, she turned to Diego. "What do you think, Mijo? Would you like to live here with Dad? All of us together?" Diego's reaction was instantaneous and emphatic. "Yes." He raced through the apartment, Rex bounding after him. "I could have my dinosaurs here all the time." As Diego disappeared down the hallway, Liam stepped closer to Sophia. "Are you sure? This is your decision, not his." "I'm sure." She met his gaze directly. "The business partnership was only part of what I wanted to discuss tonight. Us living as a family, this is the bigger step." "Not marriage," Liam clarified, careful not to presume. "Not yet," Sophia corrected gently. "One step at a time." The distinction, "not yet" rather than "no," sent hope cascading through Liam's chest. Eleanor cleared her throat pointedly. "I'll be keeping the apartment, of course. A woman my age needs her own space. But close enough for frequent visits." The announcement represented Eleanor's ultimate approval, blessing the family's reunification while maintaining appropriate boundaries. "Thank you, Eleanor," Liam said sincerely. "For everything." Her customary sharpness softened momentarily. "You proved me wrong, Liam. I didn't think that was possible." From down the hallway came Diego's excited shout. "Dad, can my dinosaur collection go in the study? There's perfect shelf space." "Absolutely," Liam called back, eyes never leaving Sophia's. "Whatever makes this feel like home." "It already does," she admitted softly. Wherever the three of us are together, that's home now. 3 weeks later, pre-dawn darkness blanketed Vancouver. Liam woke to the unfamiliar yet perfectly right sensation of Sophia curled against him, her steady breathing the rhythm his life now moved to. Their bedroom, their shared bedroom in what was now their shared home, remained dark, the city skyline visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. Careful not to wake her, Liam slipped from bed and moved to the window. 3 weeks of adjustment had transformed his once solitary existence into gloriously chaotic family life. Diego's dinosaurs occupied the study shelves previously reserved for business awards. Rex's dog bed claimed prime real estate near the fireplace. Sophia's design materials spread across the dining table in creative disarray. His phone displayed the date, exactly 1 year since a rain-soaked evening when fate placed him in Sophia's Uber. "Can't sleep?" Sophia's voice came softly from the bed. "Just thinking," he replied as she joined him at the window. "It's been exactly 1 year today." "Since the Uber ride," she nodded. "I realized that yesterday. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I'd taken a different car that night?" "Sometimes." She leaned against him, warm and solid. "But then I remember how stubborn you are. You would have found us eventually." "I like to think so," he agreed. But fate certainly accelerated the timeline. Dawn began painting the horizon in gentle pinks and purples, the city slowly awakening below them. "I have something for you," Liam said suddenly. "A 1-year anniversary gift of sorts." "We haven't officially been together for a year," Sophia pointed out, though she smiled at the sentiment. 1 year since second chances became possible," he clarified, retrieving a small box from his nightstand. Sophia accepted it with curious hesitation. Inside lay a key fob, sleek, modern, unfamiliar. "What's this for?" she asked. "Meet me on the building's south terrace in 20 minutes, Liam suggested. "Dress warmly." Intrigued, Sophia raised an eyebrow but asked no further questions. 20 minutes later, they stood on the private terrace overlooking the harbor. Dawn had bloomed fully now, casting golden light across the water. In the parking area below, a vehicle waited, not a sleek sports car or luxury sedan, but a simple black car identical to the Uber that had reunited them. "You bought a replica of the Uber?" Sophia laughed in disbelief. "Not exactly." Liam guided her toward the elevator. "Let's take a closer look." In the parking area, Sophia circled the vehicle with growing recognition. "This is the actual car, isn't it? The one I was driving that night." "The very same," Liam confirmed. "I tracked down the owner through Uber's corporate office. Made him an offer he couldn't refuse." "But why?" "Because sometimes we need reminders of where journeys begin," he explained, opening the passenger door for her. "And I thought maybe we could recreate that first ride, minus the anger and shock." Sophia slid into the passenger seat, emotion tightening her throat. "Where's our destination this time?" Liam settled behind the wheel, adjusting mirrors with meticulous care. "Wherever you want to go. That's the point. This time we decide together." The significance of his gesture, preserving the vehicle that had brought them back together, transforming it from a symbol of separation to one of reunion, wasn't lost on Sophia. She reached across the console to take his hand. "I know exactly where we should go," she decided. 20 minutes later, they parked outside the hospital where Diego had been born, where their journey had fractured 4 years earlier, where it had begun healing 1 year ago. "Are you sure?" Liam asked, understanding her choice but concerned by the painful memories it might evoke. "I'm sure," Sophia replied, her voice steady. "Some ghosts need to be faced directly." The pediatric wing was quiet at this early hour, only essential staff moving through hushed corridors. Sophia led the way to a specific room, Diego's room from 1 year earlier, now occupied by another child sleeping peacefully. "This is where everything changed," she said quietly, standing outside the closed door. "Watching you choose Diego over your company. Seeing you sleep in that uncomfortable chair rather than return to your hotel. Realizing you truly had changed." Liam's throat tightened with emotion. "I was terrified that night. Not of losing the company, but of losing my chance with both of you. I know that now." She leaned against him, drawing strength from his presence. "This place held only painful memories for so long. Now it holds new ones too." They walked hand in hand to the hospital's small chapel, a non-denominational space offering quiet reflection. Sitting in the back row, they watched morning light filter through stained glass, painting rainbow patterns across wooden pews. 4 years ago, I prayed here while you were in surgery," Liam admitted, the confession long overdue. "The only time in my adult life I've prayed." I promised anything, everything, if you and Diego would survive. I didn't know that, Sophia whispered. When Diego was born healthy despite everything, I convinced myself it was because of the medical team, not any divine intervention. Shame colored his voice. And then I broke my promise anyway. Chose the company over the miracle I'd been given. But you came back, Sophia reminded him. You made a different choice when given a second chance. Because I finally understood what mattered. He met her gaze directly. What has always mattered? The chapel's peaceful quiet enveloped them, a sanctuary from the world's demands and expectations. In this space where Liam had once bargained desperately for his family's lives, they now sat united, the broken pieces reassembled into something stronger than before. I have something for you too, Sophia said suddenly, reaching into her pocket. I wasn't planning to give it to you today, but this feels right. She withdrew a small velvet pouch. Inside lay a platinum band, masculine, understated, instantly recognizable to Liam. My wedding ring, he breathed, astonishment coloring his voice. You kept it? I tried to sell it, she admitted with a small smile. 3 different times. Could never go through with it. Why? Because some part of me always hoped we might find our way back to each other, she confessed. Even when I was angriest, some stubborn corner of my heart refused to let go completely. Liam accepted the ring with trembling fingers, its weight familiar yet new. What does this mean exactly? It means I'm ready, Sophia said simply. Not for a wedding tomorrow, but for the promise of one. For commitment without reservation. For forever if you still want that. I've never wanted anything else, Liam whispered, emotion making his voice rough. He slid the ring onto his finger, not the traditional left hand but his right. A symbol not of what had been but of what could be. Different yet equally meaningful. Does this make us engaged to be engaged? He asked, the moment's solemnity breaking with gentle humor. Something like that, Sophia laughed softly. Engaged to move forward together, however that looks. As they left the hospital hand in hand, the morning sun bathed Vancouver in golden promise. Their black sedan waited, no longer an Uber carrying strangers, but a vessel bearing family toward shared horizon. We should pick up Diego and Eleanor for breakfast, Sophia suggested as they reached the car. Make this anniversary a family celebration. Perfect, Liam agreed. And then we keep moving forward, she said simply. Together. As Liam started the engine, his right hand now adorned with the ring that symbolized not past promises broken but future commitments honored, he glanced at Sophia beside him. No longer the angry stranger who had driven him through a storm 1 year earlier, but the partner who had taught him what truly mattered. Where to? He asked, echoing the question every driver asks their passenger. Sophia smiled, reaching for his hand. Home. 1 word. Complete answer. 4 years of separation, 1 year of reconciliation, and now, finally, the journey had brought them full circle. Not to where they began but to where they belonged. Together. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Mr. Ashbourne Golden Narratives for more emotional journeys that remind us what truly matters in life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a moment when you had to choose between success and family? Or received a second chance you never expected? Your stories inspire our community and remind us that we're all navigating life's difficult choices together. And if you know someone who needs to be reminded of what truly matters, share this video with them.